gentlemen, welcome to the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. I am, of course, Nick McDaniel, and as always, I am joined by my buddy Myron.
In the world of independent wrestling, I think Georgia is the greatest state on earth.
That's right. That's right, man. This is the Georgia Indy Talk show. This is a new episode. We just recorded something special that if you were a Patreon member, you'd know all about over at patreon.com/tappedoutpod. And by the way, you would have got this one early too. We decided we recorded this one. We were recording this one on Sunday, right after we did everything over the weekend. Lots of great wrestling going around in Georgia, and we wanted to take a minute to kind of cover what we saw, pass along what's coming up, kind of just a little bit sharing of everything, right, Myron?
Yeah. Like I said, we can't leave Georgia out when we do a special weekend like that, where we did our special WrestleMania show. But folks, we saw some great wrestling last night. And where did we go, Nick?
We went to Anarchy, man. We went up to, the Landmark Arena, the legendary historical Landmark Arena. And, look, it's weird, man, that Anarchy is in a place that they're really on fire right now. Literally,
definitely.
just tearing it up, man. Lots of, the Road to Hardcore Hell, like last night was the final show heading into Hardcore Hell, which is kind of their big show of the year, obviously, which is, listen, we're going to go in it a little bit in detail, but before we go into that, let's talk about some other stuff. We have a friend of the show who works up at APW. They're doing some good stuff up there, up in Royston. Kudos to those guys for keep knocking it out on the park. And it was funny. So there was a wrestler there, Justin Sane, who I was talking to, and a little kid came up, and I wanted to take a minute. I mean, listen, it's a crazy story, but it's true. So I was standing there talking to Justin Sane, the wrestler. This little kid comes up, and it was the craziest thing. And he's like, "Are you Justin Sane?" And he's like, "Yes, I am." And he goes, "Would you sign this?" And listen, he was not in character. He was just standing there. He could have, but no, he said, "Absolutely, buddy. Where do you want me to sign?" He signed right here, and he signed it. And the little kid's face lit up and everything. And the kid walks away, and I turned to look at him and goes, "Makes it all worth it, doesn't it?"
God, wow. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
I was like, there was a split moment that I was like, it's funny because I was talking to him, and since we're talking about Georgia Indy Wrestling specifically here, I always say, look, I'm going to throw Myron for a loop what I'm about to say, because I thought I would never say this on the air. I always said, like, look, we love pro wrestling, but at times wrestling can be an abusive relationship. I was like, it very much can. It can weigh you down. It can, lots of, just the BS in pro wrestling sometimes can be, and listen, anybody who listens, wrestlers behind it, they know, it is what it is. But
we're not even in the business.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, absolutely. But when that little kid did, I was like, okay, that makes it. I'm sure for Justin, that makes it all worthwhile. When people walk up to us and are like, "Hey, dude, listen to the show, like this," I disagree. And one of my favorite things is, I disagree, man, and they make a case for why they think you're wrong or whatever. To me, that's just as good, because that's what it's just to encourage conversation. Like we're just fans, and we're just giving you our opinion, and we literally are like, dude, encourage the conversation, because this whole thing started, Myron, just three wrestling fans just talking.
Yep.
And it was like sharing their thoughts and opinions, and that's all it is. But I thought that was a great story, and kudos for Justin handling it, and just, making the kid's day, signing the autograph, and watching him walk off, all like, yeah, that was super cool. I thought that was
what about Max, friend of the show?
Yeah. Well, so two friends of the show at this point, right? So so Max is out in the crowd, and then, Nick Halen, he gave him a wristband.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Max thought it was like the greatest thing, ever. And, there's a video up that Ted put up, and that's the shit wrestling. I wish there was more of that in wrestling that got put out there and promoted. So kudos to Justin, kudos to Nick. And I know a lot of the guys do that kind of stuff. I just wish that stuff got more focused on than anything, any other BS that's out there.
Let's not talk about the negative.
Yeah.
Let's
Um,
not unless it's just have to. Let's embrace the positive things
yeah.
about professional
Eh,
wrestling, the things we enjoy.
Speaking of positive, look, we're going to cover that because look, Anarchy's going to take a minute. So, speaking of positive, look, they ran the Ox show this weekend as well.
Yes,
We were
amen.
at Anarchy, we missed that. But we love Ox. He knows.
Yeah,
Look, when we rented our ring for our show, he was like, dude, he would be the only one, that we would get a
yeah,
ring from. So forth and so on. But anyway, look, we love Ox. We're glad that people are coming and helping him out. So nothing but love for Ox.
yeah. Definitely,
Um,
definitely.
so that was a PCW ran Friday. Sorry, I want to make sure I didn't
Yep,
leave that out. I saw that Rob put a report out about the
yep, yep.
PCW.
Always doing interesting stuff there.
Yeah.
I wish I could get there more. It would be a chance to see Matt Hankins book twice in a weekend though, and I don't know if my little heart can deal with that because that man took me on a wild ride last night for Anarchy. Um, wow.
Yeah.
All I can say is wow. I saw elements of all of wrestling, all little wrestling cliches and tropes were worked in there somehow. Okay, perfectly. This was the go home show for hardcore hell, and they worked every single storyline to the show. Everything went to set up the show. Wow. I'm saying wow a lot because I was so moved by the fact that they were putting together a program that is making me excited about going to a show.
Well,
That's
that's what they're
awesome.
supposed to do, and let's dive right into it, man. And we're not going to go into card order and things like that specifically. We'll go just kind of jump around a little bit. First and foremost, I want to get look. Nick Halen has a match with Luca Daniels. Congratulations, by the way. He acknowledged it at the show, on Saturday night. He put it out on Facebook today. 365 days. Nick Halen has not been defeated in the Landmark Arena.
Not been pinned.
Not been pinned. So be it.
Yes.
He's gonna get Sal. They announced he is gonna get Sal
Oh yeah.
Renaro at Hardcore Hell. I think Nick has been saying he's the best wrestler at the Landmark Arena. He's the best wrestler there, in Anarchy. And he wants to test himself, and he's going to test himself against Sal, which is one hell of a measuring stick.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and look, we talked about the thing with Max, whatever, and I keep telling people, Nick Halen is your favorite wrestler. You may not even know it yet, but Nick Halen is your favorite wrestler.
Definitely.
They also advanced the stories. Look, Hunter James was in the main event against Parker Lee. Croc
Wow.
Johnson opened with. Oh, hold on, listen, because I'm gonna open. He opened with Croc Johnson opens with Duncan Mitchell. What
Mhm.
the hell? Duncan Mitchell has caught fire at Anarchy.
Oh God, yes.
They
Well,
freaking
one thing
love him.
is you're going against the most hated group of heels. The program is, I would say, maybe in the whole state of Georgia. The only thing I would put up there with him is the approved. Totally hated heels. Okay, people go nuts. Duncan is super popular, but when you play off how much people hate the program, it makes it just so much hotter. The whole room was on fire. The whole building was on fire. It was awesome.
Yeah. But Proc, of course, he is successfully in the win. Of course, look, Hunter James is going to win. It just, that's they're on the roll. We saw earlier, in the day, apparently Shane Marks was run over by the
It was a
program.
yes, yes. It was a very, very disturbing video to watch. Um, I really hope he is okay. But that was, guys, that was scary to see.
By the way,
Scott
that's the
Mason
most
had a
straight up
match.
Memphis, Florida shit I've ever seen in my
Yes,
life. By the way,
it was a match between Nick Halen's car, not Nick Halen, Jesus Christ, Scott Mason's car and Shane Marks' ass, apparently, because he
yeah.
hit him, scared the hell out of me. I wish I could have seen more, but the ring announcer was in my way. You could see the screen. Uh, love the multimedia stuff they're doing at Anarchy. It
Yeah.
makes it so much more interactive.
Such good
Uh,
shit. I mean, but like I said,
yeah,
listen, it's ultimately, let's say what is all, Hunter and Parker Lee have a match at the end of the show. The undeniable, well, we say undeniable. Brian Blaze, obviously Shane Marks wasn't there. Joe Black come out. Then Matt Hankins make an appearance. He's been gone for a while. That kind of really, got the
Yeah.
crowd rolling. Essentially, all these chess pieces were moving all over the table to set up the program will defend the tag titles against the Undeniable, at Hardcore Hell, and Joe Black will defend his title, his Heritage title, against Scott Mason in a dog collar match. So we kind of had all things pointing that that's where we're heading. Yeah, look, I know Scott Mason said he'd do anything to get his title back, but there's no
Oh,
damn way I'm strapping a dog collar to my neck and gonna have
I've
Joe
seen what
Black
Joe
on the other
Black.
end.
Yeah, I've seen what he can do in those matches.
Yeah,
It's
not happening. Not happening.
so excited, so excited for Hardcore
Absolutely.
Hell.
Jay Too Strong. Look, enough can't be said for how crazy that crowd gets for him. Kudos to the crowd, by the way. It was funny because I said to somebody, it wasn't the largest crowd they ever had. It wasn't the fullest we've ever seen the build, but the fans were hot. They were all over it. They could they were giving everybody the business that deserved it, and they were
Oh yeah.
behind every guy that they're
Hmm.
supposed to be behind.
Hmm.
And Jay Too Strong and Narcissism went out there in a no DQ match, effectively. I mean, they talk about using the chair, put on a hell of a match. To the point that I messaged somebody and said they love this. They are eating this shit up,
Oh yeah.
and they were.
Oh yeah.
Um, it, it's funny that a lot of things can be said, but I always tell people, and it was funny. Somebody in the back told me it's amazing that when Jay turns it on, dude, he fucking nails it.
Oh yeah. Amazed. I was
Yeah,
amazed by that. He was moving much like a man much smaller than him.
yeah,
Naja, we know what he can do. He can fly all over the
absolutely,
place.
yeah.
Just damn impressive as hell.
Um,
Uh, oof.
yeah, Jacob Ashworth. Look, there's a whole story with the beacon. We were, I was told that that's the beacon. They are the light that will show you the way. That is Hanson. It is sorry, is William Huckabee. And then, during the night, we also saw the unleashing of Azrael from the body bag. So
Oh,
therefore, clearly he is with Hanson as
Crystal
well.
Rose. Don't just. I think Crystal Rose is probably the toughest woman wrestler in Georgia. I've seen her do stuff that a lot of the men can't do. I've seen her get busted open. I think she's probably one of the best, and I don't think she gets enough credit for what she does in Georgia wrestling. They brought Azrael out in a body bag. Okay, dumped him on the ring. He came out. Ashworth came out, and then they're going to bring out somebody from Ashworth's past.
And
Oh
that's where
Lord,
shit went sideways for the Beacon because Brad Cash
yes.
comes out, and of course, if you find out Jacob Ashworth was 2 steps ahead of him, and he's actually with Jacob, there's a brawl ensues, everything kind of goes down, and then we find out at hell, that Hardcore Hell, Jacob Ashworth and Brad Cash will wrestle the Beacon in a cell block match. And if you don't know what that means there will be a cage outside, and they will wrestle outside in a cage.
I don't think it's really going to be wrestling. I just think it's going to be horrible, brutal violence.
That
And
is
I,
true.
I really, God Almighty, this kind of stuff scares the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I've seen Brad Cash, and I've actually seen Brad Cash and Jacob Ashworth in hardcore matches,
Yeah.
and
I
it's
think
been just
they were saying, they pointed out, like, because of their history, they bonded as they respected each other because of the battles they've had with each other.
oh God,
Um, and speaking of the ultimate test of respect here, so at the card on Saturday, we had the contract signing between Jeter, who will face Anarchy champion Will Caution for that Anarchy title at Hardcore Hell. Two things. One, Will Caution looked like a champion.
yes, he
In
did.
that suit, he looked like a champion. Um, the thing is, now he's going to have to show the world he's a champion by
Yes,
defeating Jeter.
by proving Jeter wrong.
That's right. To go out there and, you know, it's funny. It's a is Will Caution going to be Billy the Kid? Because there's a line in Young Guns, 2 specifically, by the way, Young Guns 2, when he says, like they're talking about making the run to Old Mexico. And he's like, well, hell, y'all are testing yourselves and you don't even know it. Well, that's the test of all tests. If you ask me, I'm in. This is it. This is Will Caution's measuring. Like, this is the measuring stick to see is Will Caution really the champion that he thinks he can be and the fans think he can be? This is his match to prove it.
Hell of a promo. They cut a hell of a promo with that. It was a very tense contract signing because, typically contract signings involve someone going through the table. And it was very tense the whole time. Caution cut an amazing promo. Could have been the promo of the night if Matt Hankins hadn't come out there.
Right.
Jesus Christ. He's Kitty Baby and all that other shit he used. Oh, man. But I don't think there's a bad thing going to happen at Hardcore Hell. I'm looking forward to every single match on the card at Hardcore Hell.
Yeah.
I have my tickets. I have our tickets. You should get yours.
Yeah.
Front row's gone. Okay? I think maybe second row too. Get your tickets now.
And it's the ultimate buffet of wrestling.
Yes.
You will have the cell block match, which will be everything you think it will be. It will be a car crash of a match. Jeter will, and Will Caution, it's personal. It's very emotional. And like I said, so there's everything about a title match that should be there. Joe and Scott Mason, Joe Black, listen, it doesn't matter what you say. You got to ask, like, as far as Scott Mason goes, how far is he willing to go to try to get that thing back, his title back? I don't know, man. Joe Black is a stud. I just don't see it happening, but that's a whole other conversation. You're going to see.
All matches are different, though.
That is true. Yeah. Nick and Sal are going to be the wrestling match.
Yeah.
Those two are going to be, and I tell people sleep on it, man. It could be the absolute show stealer on Hardcore Hell because to me, it's going to be different than everything else.
Yes.
And so that's why I said that could be the show stealer. And then, of course, the program versus the undeniable. Look, it's going to be a tag team brawl. They're going to fight and they're going to beat the hell out of each other. And, look, running somebody over ain't a good way to start, right? So it's personal. They're out. The undeniable going to be out for blood. So I hope the program bought their lunch pails because it's going to be an all-day job. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Right now, nobody, in my opinion, is doing a better job of building young talent than Anarchy. And I know that's an offshoot of PCW and what they're able to do down there to get people reps. But I am seeing young talent develop so rapidly from going through that program. Everybody behind it deserves credit for that.
Yeah. So if you haven't been out to Anarchy in a while, make the trip up to Cornelia because it's a great, great show. They've really been on fire lately. And if you haven't seen it, you've missed out. That is for sure. Now let's look. Get your tickets and check them out. So now let's look to the future. Next weekend, look, it's a pretty light load. It is WrestleMania weekend, so there's not a ton of shows running. Like Southern Honor pushed their show back. They're not running on. They're going to be running the next week. Their big free show is on that Friday, the next week. But Southern Fried is running this Saturday down in Monroe. And look, they're the staple. Like they're just consistently just nailing home run shows. So it is what it is, man. And I always check them out. I know you rattled off some names that are on the card. You're talking,
impressive.
Proc's going to be on that card. He's going to wrestle Strychnine, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, the guys are there. Judas are there. Nick Halen is there. Todd Sexton's there. The Palmetto
Master
Express.
and Machine will be there.
That's right. They'll be back. So
Griff Garrison, AEW superstar, will be there.
Yeah. So if you haven't been out, you need to get them checked out, man. Head over to Monroe, over 405 Community Court. They're at the Boys and Girls Club. Like I said, Saturday, it's their bell time is 7, correct?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
yes.
they're a 7 o'clock bell time. The 7 and 8s throw me off because they're shows at different times. So that's the big show to look forward to this coming up weekend. You don't want to miss it. Southern Fried Championship Wrestling. Man, that's a crazy week in Georgia wrestling. Man, is there anything else that I'm missing that we didn't talk about yet?
As much as crazy as this week was, and going into things, the next weekend is going to be probably could be a landmark weekend. Not just playing on the Fact Hardcore Hells at Landmark. 2-night event, by the way. 2-night event. Southern Honor has a free show on Friday the 8th. Get there and get your tickets.
Yeah.
I don't have all the details about how you need to get your tickets, but I would suggest you get there as soon as possible. Maybe like now. Because there's going to be a lot of people want to get to that show.
Yeah. And listen, man.
Card is impeccable.
Look, lots of stuff going on. KLT's running, GIPW, GPW. I mean, Viral, of course, down, in Thompson. You got IWE down in Augusta. You got APW up in Royston. You got I'm like, look, man, if you're just a wrestling fan, I'm telling you how much fun you'll have. Check out one of these indie shows here in Georgia. And look, we would be remiss here on, the Georgia Indy Talk section if we don't tell you, go over to the Rob Rod Report over on Facebook.
Yes.
Give it a follow, because every week he's chugging out every freaking show he can find. He's giving you the list. It's giving you a link to the Facebook page, so you'll know where it's at. You'll know, you can find the poster, all that stuff, man. I'm like, it's a very huge resource here if you're a wrestling fan in Georgia. That's the Rob Rod Report over on Facebook, man. Make sure you're following it. Like I said, it'll keep you completely in the loop.
Man puts in a lot of hard work on that. He needs credit for the fact that he builds crowds in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, kudos to Rob Rod, man. That's all I'm, much love, much love. So that's everything I have for this week on the Georgia Indy Talk. You got anything else before we get out of here, man?
No, man, I'm happy. That's the thing. I'm happy to be a wrestling fan right now. I like to always highlight the good things in wrestling because that's what makes me happy. And I want to thank everybody for how gracious they've been to us at the shows we go to.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, what's the old saying, brother? If I've got nothing and you've got nothing, what time is it?
It's time to tap out.